This is a segment that I really thought we should do because, we took the piss out of Javier Milei, the president-elect of Argentina, who actually takes office in 9 days. And apparently he's got this crop.
He's a poet warrior.
Yeah, apparently he's got this crop of online defenders who insist that, no, he's not just a crazy fuck puppet for the New World Order. He is this renegade anti-establishment crusader. Well, he took a trip to the United States, which the AP has some reporting on. Argentina's president-elect tells top Biden officials that he's committed to freedom. By the way, freedom in South America speak, as it relates to our leaders, means capitalism. That's what it is.
Right,
freedom
exactly.
equals capitalism, right? That's what he means there. Argentina's president-elect Javier Milei met Tuesday with senior Biden administration officials at the White House in his first international trip since winning a presidential runoff earlier this month. The right-wing Milei had a, quote, positive meeting with White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, the president-elect's office said in a statement. The visit by Argentina's incoming leader occurred while President Joe Biden was away from Washington at a memorial for former First Lady Rosalind Carter in Georgia and then traveling to Colorado. The statement from Milei's office said he had expressed his views on the international geopolitical agenda aligned with the West and his commitment to the values of freedom. That means pro-capitalism, pro-American corporations. It means pro-U.S. dollar, pro-Ukraine, and pro-Israel. That's what that means. It added that Sullivan, speaking on behalf of the administration, conveyed the willingness of the United States to cooperate in the transition of the incoming Argentine government, given the challenging political, economic, and social circumstances that the country is facing. The White House issued a statement saying that Sullivan and Milei discussed economic issues and shared priorities such as investing in technology and clean energy, advocating for human rights, and standing up for democracies around the world. Also attending the meeting on behalf of the Biden administration were Juan Gonzalez, the National Security Council's Senior Director for the Western Hemisphere, Brian Nichols, U.S. Assistant Secretary of State for the Western Hemisphere Affairs, and U.S. Ambassador to Argentina, Mark Stanley, according to the statement by Milei's office. Milei made other stops in Washington. On Tuesday, he posted on Instagram a picture of himself and aides at the Lincoln Memorial. Here he is at the Lincoln Memorial, selfie here. Here he is with Bill Clinton. This was in New York, so he didn't come straight to Washington when he came to America. He came to New York City, had lunch with Bill Clinton, anti-establishment renegade that he is. And then here he is with the actual president, Jake Sullivan. That's Jake Sullivan standing immediately to his right, our left. That's the guy who actually runs foreign policy. It's Tony Blinken and Jake Sullivan. So, look, this is a lesson that I think, people are now learning very, very quickly. Fucking lunatic doesn't mean anti-establishment. Sometimes you can be a fucking lunatic and be a tool of establishment power.
And there's a long history of that in South America.
There is a long history of that. As a matter of fact, Javier Milei is the exact kind of South American leader that the United States would install if they lost an election to the socialist. Usually what happens in South America, when a socialist wins an election, we declare that election illegitimate, we overthrow the elected left-wing government, and we install someone like a Javier Milei type. So not only is this guy not anti-establishment, again, pro-US dollar, pro-Israel, pro-Ukraine, this guy is exactly the kind of leader who we would put in power if it meant overthrowing a leftist government that was going to protect the resources of their own country from Western power. So I hope that puts the whole cult of Milei to rest a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, you're rooting for Pinochet.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, look. Well, this is where, and, I think often they make the argument dishonestly, but this is where a lot of people who will be critical of those who are anti-woke have a point, because it's so easy to get them to jump on any bandwagon. If
exactly,
you go, yes, we've had enough of this cultural degradation, and they'll just get behind anyone without really looking under the hood who talks that language, who uses that vocabulary, without checking out.
They just assume that any eccentric personality that the establishment has it in for, is on their side. And in this case, the establishment doesn't even have it in for them. They like him for all this talk, because look, this guy calls climate change a socialist lie, right? He is a blatant climate denier. Now, if Bill Clinton and Joe Biden really took climate change seriously. You think
Right.
they would be palling around with this guy? No, they would be denouncing his government. They would be denouncing him as this crazed, extremist, Trump-like threat to the social fabric and democracy. But they don't care about any of that shit. All they care about is that you will play ball with the United States. So they will
That's it.
empower. And look, there's a long history of this. This is not the first time this happened, obviously. Long history of this. We will empower the most maniacal right-wing fanatics in South America if it means keeping out socialists like Evo Morales, who will protect their own resources, i.e. lithium, right? We cooed that government to get access to their lithium mines because the left-wing leader wasn't going to give it to the United States for nothing.
Well, and there's a big part of, as a lot of people are learning, there's a big part of the history of the Muslim world. Because not only the Zionists, but the United States propaganda machine will try to convey to you the idea that that region is hopelessly medieval in its theocratic inclinations. And that didn't happen naturally. The Arab world coming out of World War II and the collapse of the British Empire was full of left-wing socialist Arab projects. We propped up religious, theocratic leaders in order to make sure that those leaders did not come to power and hold power in that region. That's how they wound up like that. We manipulated them to be like that. South America, they do the same thing. They give you the impression that South America is just seething with these strong men. No, it's not. We prop up these strong men. And I will say, in a world that is de-dollarizing, I'm sure he didn't hurt his chances of coming to a deal with the West any, or at least with the United States, by proposing getting rid of their peso and going to the dollar in Argentina, using the dollar as their currency.
Exactly. Well, that's what it's all about. Like I said, you could be as crazy, as right-wing, as xenophobic, as homophobic. They don't give a shit. Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Jake Sullivan, Anthony Blinken, they don't give a goddamn about Western values or freedom or any of that shit.
Right.
They want puppets. Right. Where they need
I just got off the phone with him. He'll play ball. We could do business with this guy.
Exactly. And that's all that matters. That's why they're willing to shake hands with him and smile for selfies with him in public, because in their minds, they would much, much, much rather a guy like him than a guy like Evo Morales or, Chavez or any of those guys. The further right doesn't matter to them. Doesn't matter.
Please clap.